We're about to dive into a huge question. I mean, it's fundamental to our lives. It's a puzzle that has fascinated thinkers for centuries. No, really, think about it for a second. We live in a world with billions of people, all with our own ideas, our own lives. So what's the invisible force that keeps it all from just falling apart? What stops total chaos? Well, to help us get a handle on this, we're going to turn to a real giant in the field, one of the founders of sociology, Émile Durkheim. This guy literally dedicated his entire life to cracking this exact mystery. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with Durkheim's big question, then look at the two types of social glue he found, dig into his wild theory on religion, and then wrap up with why all of this still matters. A lot. All right, let's jump right in. First up, Durkheim's central question. What is this social glue holding everything together? See, Durkheim knew it was more than just laws or money. He was hunting for those invisible social forces, the unseen connections that create a sense of we. And that's what he famously called the binding glue of society. So, to find this glue, Durkheim did something smart. He went back in time. He decided to start by looking at what he called the old glue, the stuff that held the earliest human societies together. And what he found was this incredibly powerful concept he called the collective conscious. Now, this isn't just, everyone agreeing on something. It's way deeper. Think of it as the total sum of all of a society's shared beliefs, morals, and attitudes. It's almost like a shared social mind that everyone is plugged into. And let me tell you, this force was potent. For these early societies, the collective conscience wasn't just a friendly suggestion. It was the air they breathed. It was everything. This deep, shared understanding was the moral bedrock for their entire world, creating this super strong, almost unbreakable sense of us. But, okay, what happens when societies change, when they get bigger, more complex, more diverse? Well, that old glue, the one based on everyone being the same, it starts to break down. And that brings us to a whole new kind of bond, the new glue for modern society. And this is where we see the huge shift. Early societies, they were held together by what they had in common, that strong collective consciousness. But modern, advanced societies, get this, they're held together by the exact opposite, by their differences, through something Durkheim called the division of labor. So, how does that even work? How do differences bind us together? Well, it's actually a pretty simple three-step process. First, specialization, right? People develop unique skills. You become a doctor, I'm a farmer, she's an engineer. Second, that immediately makes us interdependent. We need each other to survive. The doctor can't grow her own food, and the farmer can't fix his own broken leg. And third, and this is the genius part, that web of needing each other becomes the new moral glue. We stick together not because we're all the same, but precisely because we're all different and we're all in it together. But Durkheim wasn't done, not by a long shot. He had a hunch there was an even deeper, more fundamental source of social power out there. And his search for it led him to a really surprising place, religion. And his thinking here was just brilliant. He figured, if you want to understand something as complex as modern religion, you have to go back to basics. You have to study its most elementary form. So he studied religion in what he called a primitive society to try and find its core, its essential function, the thing that's true for all religions everywhere. And what he found, wow, it was revolutionary. It completely flipped the script on what religion is all about. He came to this jaw-dropping conclusion. Society itself is the basis for religion itself. Okay, let's just pause and unpack that for a second, because that is a massive idea. What Durkheim was saying is that when we think about gods or sacred things or religious rituals, what we're really looking at are symbols. Symbols of the group, of the community. So when people get together to worship, what they're actually doing, even if they don't realize it, is celebrating the power and the unity of their own social group. They're worshiping society itself. So you might be thinking, okay, interesting history lesson, but why are we talking about some guy from over 100 years ago? Well, because these ideas about social glue are maybe more important now than they've ever been. Let's get into why Durkheim still matters so much today. At the end of the day, Durkheim's work gives us this incredible toolkit. It helps us see the invisible forces that are either pulling us together or pushing us apart. It gives us a way to think about really big social problems, and it also gives us a healthy dose of reality, explaining why so many of society's biggest challenges are often only ameliorated, made a little bit better, but never totally solved. And all of this leaves us with one last big question. Durkheim showed us that the social glue changes, that it evolves over time. So what is it for us, today? In our deeply interconnected, super specialized world, what's the social glue that binds us all together? What are the rituals, the shared ideas that create our sense of we? That's the puzzle Durkheim leaves for us to figure out.